Yeah, I mean, obviously, Ark and Lamine are two special players. I mean, I can coach here for another 20 odd years and never come across one of them, let alone two. So anytime you lose a quality player like that, your team's gonna suffer. But at the same time, I think it's gonna help us in a way because the team is gonna have to adjust their whole playing style. At times, we kind of always relied on the two of them. We always knew they were going to score. But now that we don't have that option, we're going to need a contribution from every single player in the field, whether it's a guaranteed starter or a role player. Everybody has to kind of pick up the slack that those two have always brought into us the past 4 years. Yeah, Jack, we made him captain in the springtime because of his leadership abilities. He's a little bit older as a sophomore. He's 21 years old, so he's brought some experience. Even though he was a freshman last year, he still he showed those characters as a leader. So like some people always point seniors as captains and so forth like that, or 2 or 3 individuals. I think he has earned the respect of the guys, and certainly earned the respect of Chris and I, and that's why we did it. On the field wise, he realized the difference between last year and this year, what he needed to do physically, get himself in a little bit more shape, and he's done that. Looking at our preseason game last night, he came out of the midfield quite well, was pulling the strings and helping out the freshman guys along the way. And Nick's always been one of the best guys on the team in terms of his character. He's busy, he's hardworking, every day in training, every single game. He's not the most vocal guy in the world. He's quite quiet. But he is a different type of leader. He leads by what he does on the field and certainly in the classroom as well, and earning academic all-region. So he's another person that the guys look up to. Midfield's certainly probably our strongest position right now with both the returning aspect and our incoming freshman class. Sonny is probably one of our most creative players on the ball. He's very confident, takes people on, lots and lots of pace. So that helps a lot. Last year, he took a little bit of a learning curve. It took him 2 or 3 games to kind of understand where he could do things and where it was a bit dangerous. But in preseason, we've had a talk with him. He knows his role, and we're happy to see that. With Emmett, last year, carried a little bit of an injury here and there, and it needs to work on his fitness a little bit this year. But he's certainly a steady player. He's hard. He tackles well. Reads the game quite well. And then, depending on who he's playing with. In the back, he's can go a little bit forward into the midfield if we need a defensive center midfield. Yeah, Daryl's he's a senior. He's consistently played for the past 4 years, and he's done well. He's a person that lays it all on the line for you. He'll run through a brick wall, and he's got a lot of heart and determination, and that rubs off on a lot of people. With the back 4 in mind, he started about 3 freshmen along with him in the back, so it was obviously it's a good sign whenever you concede less goals. They can do that, and obviously we carry a lot more experience with those freshmen now being sophomores, and we also return Tyler Davis and Casey Clemens are going to be seniors, and we're going to be pushing those guys that had the starting berths last year due to their medical red shirt. They're going to come back and they're hungry, and they want to make this senior year a fabulous year for themselves. So I think it's just going to add competition, and whenever you have competition, it just makes the team stronger. And Tyler's a fantastic kid. I have a lot of time for Tyler. He works his backside off every single training session, every single game. Not only during practices, but he does a lot of things on his own, which is great. He had to revert from midfield to the back last year because we had a lot of injuries, and did really, really well. We're probably going to look to him to go back and forth between midfield and the back 4 because he does bring us an offensive threat from the back out because he does have some pace. He has lungs that can run for weeks, so that also helps as well. Callum obviously got thrown into the deep end as a freshman and started every game, which is tough at the college level. For goalkeepers, a lot of times they get that year experience here and there. He did well, and I can already see this year and just in the training sessions and at the game time, that he's stepped up his game in terms of his technique, his shot stopping and all that. And he still needs to mature a little bit in terms of what he says to the guys and stuff like that, and calms down. But once he gets that under wraps, I think he can be one of the best goalkeepers in the league, personally. And with that fact that we've got 3 freshman goalkeepers coming in, are really going to push him. And he can't take a lackadaisical step in training session because there's always going to be someone there breathing down his neck. And I think that added competition they didn't have last year is really going to push him and make him a better goalkeeper. The level of players we brought in this year is probably the strongest I've had in my 6 years here. There's no real true player that I don't think deserves to be here. We're pretty deep now, 2-3 guys at each position, and like I said before, anytime you have that competition, guys have to be on their toes every single practice and every single game, which is great. We've got 3 or 4 freshmen. I think they're going to make a big contribution, starting, probably some of them coming off the bench. So really excited about that. We've got a couple guys that are very offensive that are going to help pick up the scoring, and we've got guys that play in the back. They're holding midfielders, defenders that are help solidify that back four that we already have a good class coming back for. Yeah, our first and foremost team goal is to get into the conference tournament. Last year we were 3 points out. It was very disappointing because we let ourselves down. Towards the end of the season, we were in the driver's seat in third and fourth place going into 3 games to go, and we basically bottled it. A lot of that had to go down to the maturity level of starting 4 and 5 freshmen. So certainly those guys that were on the team last year, want to make amends, especially since we have such a good senior group that started pretty much a significant part of their careers. Want to end on a high note. Certainly, I think the team we have here, that's an attainable goal. And then obviously, once you make it into the conference tournament, it's a one-off in the semifinal or one-off in the final, and anything can happen at that point.